This changes everything for the Steelers quarterback situation as Cameron Heyward gives his take on the Steelers' latest quarterback acquisition. My name is Peyton Kleppe, and on today's episode of Steelers Digest, we'll be breaking down the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news and reports. Before we dive into this news, real quick, if you guys are not currently subscribed already, click that subscribe button down below. 91% of our current viewers are not already subscribed, but if you click that subscribe button, we're going to get you guys the latest Pittsburgh Steelers rumors, reports, and analysis every single day. Let's get right into the latest news. So as the Pittsburgh Steelers have brought back Mason Rudolph, Cameron Heyward has given his take on the re-signing of this quarterback. Cameron Heyward stated that, Mason's a good dude. I think Mason proved a lot to the Pittsburgh Steelers fans, not just this past year, but last year when he stepped in for us, he was ready, and if we don't sign a quarterback and we go in this year with Mason, I think we feel good about it. Cameron Heyward said this, and, he's a huge leader in our locker room, so hearing that from a veteran like Cameron Heyward about a guy like Mason Rudolph is really encouraging for us Steelers fans, especially after the QB carousel we've had this offseason. It started with Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, and then it just became Justin Fields. Are we going to sign him? Then no, we don't get Justin Fields. Then it's like, okay, are we going to get Russell Wilson? No, we don't want to get Russell Wilson. Then we're going to get Aaron Rodgers. Okay, come and visit us. Dude comes in for 6 hours, doesn't sign. What's next? We bring in Mason Rudolph, and that's really the only guy we've got on the roster of six that's going to substantially start. I mean, Skylar Thompson's, he's not a starting quarterback, so, all we got right now is Mason Rudolph, and the Steelers have the 21st pick in the draft, so it's not really looking like we're going to get a top-tier guy in Cam Ward or Shadur Sanders. And Jackson Dart, we could look to get him if we trade up, but Steelers probably don't have enough draft capital to do so. So, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have to go into this year with Mason Rudolph. And, Cameron Heyward also stated that excited to have him back. He's a really great guy for the locker room. And a lot of guys vibe with him. To bring him back, part of the group, is special. And I really am happy that Cam Hayward said this because, Mason Rudolph, he definitely has had his fair share of ups and downs in the NFL. He went 1-4 in his starts in 2024, and he threw 9 touchdowns and 9 interceptions while amassing 1,500 yards over the year. That was with the Tennessee Titans also starting snaps, splitting snaps with Will Levis, who was their starter at the beginning of the year. And Mason Rudolph and him really battled throughout the whole year, and there really was not a consistent starter. So it's not overly worrisome that he had this stat line. The Tennessee Titans are one of the worst, actually they are the worst football team in the NFL right now because they have the number 1 pick. And, Will Levis sucked. Their coaches sucked. Defense sucked. Offense sucked. There was not any real bright spots in Tennessee. So Mason definitely made the best of what he could have. And, his last stint with the Pittsburgh Steelers, with all of our weapons, with our coaching staff, with Mike Tomlin, his last 3 games came at the end of 2023, where he led the Pittsburgh Steelers from 7-7 to 10-7, and they won. And they made the playoffs. They did lose to the Buffalo Bills in the first round, but he did show a lot of poise during that game, and although it really wasn't close in the end, it was still closer than any other time we've really had a playoff game in the last 10 years. Last time we won was, I think, 2017 with Big Ben, with KC. James Harrison was on the team as well. Guy's jersey back here. But anyways, it was great. It was a great time when Mason Rudolph stepped in at the end of the season. In 2023, Kenny Pickett was dealing with an injury at the time. He was also struggling on offense. It all started during that Cardinals game, I believe, where the Cardinals really shocked us and beat us in Pittsburgh, where we had like 2 rain delays. But ever since that game, Kenny Pickett really started to fall off, and that's when he led to his end in Pittsburgh. But, after that game, Mason Rudolph came back in for the first time in a few years. And like I said, he went on that 3-game winning streak, and he saved our season, really. That was around Christmas time. I remember everybody saying Rudolph saved Christmas. It was a great time for us Steelers fans, and I think Mason Rudolph moving forward is a good option for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like I said, Tennessee was a dumpster fire last year, so you can't really blame Mason for his performance on the field. The guy still threw 9 touchdowns, although he did throw 9 picks, 9 touchdowns, is still pretty good. And he wasn't really throwing the ball to anyone special. I mean, Tennessee had Calvin Ridley. They had D-Hop. Or did they have D-Hop at the beginning of the year? I don't really remember. They traded him. That guy's been on so many teams now. I don't even remember, He's still a great player, but we'll see in Baltimore what happens. Anyways, back to Mason Rudolph. I really think Mason Rudolph could be a starter for us as we look for a bridge quarterback. I think he's the best guy we're going to get in these past couple years. Actually, I mean, having Justin Fields and Russ last year was probably one of the best combos we've had. But Mason Rudolph is a good bridge quarterback as the Steelers look for their next rookie to take over as the franchise starter. Like I said, they could look in the draft in the first round this year if they want to trade up, if they believe that they found their guy in the draft, and also if this whole Aaron Rodgers saga comes to the end and he decides he doesn't want to play in Pittsburgh. But all signs are showing that the Steelers are probably going to bring him in. So what that means, if the Pittsburgh Steelers do bring him in for Mason Rudolph is if Aaron Rodgers starts off and he's playing like crap and he starts messing the Pittsburgh Steelers team up, Mason Rudolph could come in and save the day once again, which he did in 2023. So whether or not Steelers do look to sign Aaron Rodgers or not, Mason Rudolph still has the upper hand because at the end of the day, he still could come in and save the day. Like I said, this guy's still a competent quarterback. And like Cam Heyward said too, he's a locker room guy. Everybody loves him in Pittsburgh. George Pickens had George Pickens had most of his success with Mason Rudolph. His best year was played with Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett at quarterback. It was 2023 where George Pickens had over 1,000 yards. And now we got DK Metcalf to also throw the ball to. And he's going to, I think, have one of his best years next year. I'm hoping so, and I really think so. At that number 4, he's going to be looking nice. He's going to be playing nice. I'm very excited for DK Metcalf and the George Pickens combo. Whichever quarterback we will have, they're going to have a field day tossing to those guys. And to add in Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell coming in the backfield, working Freiermuth over the middle, we're going to have some dogs on offense. And hopefully we can get all these signs, all these things clicking together. And hopefully we can at least get past that first round of the playoffs and start looking like a contender once again. And not doing this insanity thing where we're doing the same thing over a year. Us Steelers fans are tired of losing the first round of the playoffs and just looking embarrassing ourselves. Every year we fall flat on our faces in December. A few years ago when we had Big Ben, the Killer Bees, our strength was in December. But now that's been our weak point. When the Steelers get to the December point, they start to fall apart. And hopefully this next year, we will figure it out and we will learn from our mistakes. That's all I have for you guys right now on Steelers Digest. Thank you so much. If you guys have not subscribed already, click that subscribe button down below. Peace out. Thank you so much. Here we go, Steelers.